Hello, my YouTube friends. Thanks for joining in tonight. If you haven't hit that subscribe button right down snare like a snare drum, go ahead and hit that snare and slam that bell out the park, man. We got a lot of cool things going on here at R Trip Studio Audio Master. Man, if you haven't hit that subscribe button or slam that bell or type down there as to why you like a Shure microphone, go ahead and do so now. I encourage you to do so now, simply because we're going to be giving this SM7B microphone away in the drawing, and you don't want to miss out. Ah, man, we got our Shure SM7B microphones that are just lovely microphones, and I wanted to talk about what is your baby? What is your baby microphone? You know, everybody has their baby, man, and I certainly got mine. I remember that one of the first condenser microphones that I ever sang through. I just fell in love with this microphone. It was the first time I ever experienced a condenser microphone. I want to say I was about 21 years old, and 20 or 21, and we were doing some tracking on a reel to reel, and I just fell in love with this microphone. It was a Sony condenser microphone. It was gray. I want to say it was gray. I can't even remember. I can't even remember which one it was. It was so long ago, and at the time, I didn't pay attention too much to, model numbers or anything like that. I just remember it had Sony on it, and it was just the most gorgeous sounding condenser microphone in the world. At least I thought at the time. It just sounded like something I've never heard before because I was just used to singing through dynamic microphones, and I think we were using some 57s and 58s, mainly singing through Shure SM58s. And I did have a bunch of, my brother found a good deal, a box full of these old Sony pencil microphones that I ended up having like 7 or 8 of these mics that just were outstanding for recording acoustic guitars and things like that. However, I never did use these mics, these pencil mics, for singing through. But the first time I stepped up to that condenser microphone, I want to say we had one of those old Lisa's little reverb units. They're half rack with the blue lettering on it. And man, I was singing through that. It was going through that. One of their little compressors, half rack compressors, through the Sony condenser microphone. And I was just floored. It sounded so good. I was like, man, I have got to get me a condenser microphone and start using one on my vocals because my voice just sounds so good on a condenser mic. That was the first time I actually fell in love with microphones, was singing through that condenser Sony microphone. And ever since then, I've just been a microphone collector and lover all these years. So, you guys, I know you engineers out there that have been in the recording business for many, many years. I know you've got your go to microphones that you really, really enjoy, and you know what microphone to pull up on your drum kits, and you pretty much stick with that all the time simply because you know it works and you know placement and all of the above. And so it may be some bare dynamic microphones, it may be some ribbon microphones, it may be some condenser microphones, some dynamic microphones. You may have 10 or 15 microphones just in your mic locker just for miking your drum kit. And that's such a beautiful thing when you know pretty much what microphone you can count on. And so as you work with these microphones through the years and as you use these microphones through the years, they become your baby. They actually become your baby because you actually know how they work and how they sound, how they know how they're going to react on certain instruments, whether they need to be up close or far away. And so you get to know these microphones, and they end up being your kids. They end up being your babies. So I wanted to do a show tonight about microphones because all my microphones are my babies and I love them all. I love my R-44, which I really can't wait to start using a whole bunch on some piano tracks that I'm putting down. And I love my AK-47 condenser microphone, which is pretty much my go-to mic to actually start any type of song. And then if I find that it's not working or my R-44 is not working in the mix right, or that I feel like it just doesn't have that pop right away, I always go to the Shure SM7B microphone, dynamic microphone, because you're going to get a lot out of this mic right here, and it is a workhorse on the track. It's one that you can always count on. It's always reliable, and I really enjoy the Shure microphone. Shure has been out many, many years now, and Shure has been producing some great microphones that I'm sure all of you guys can vouch for and agree to. Everyone has in their studio the Shure SM57 and a 58, and they're just great microphones. They're built to last forever, and they just have really, really done a fine job on making their microphones and putting them out there. And you know what? You can find Shure microphones just about on any live stage that you'll ever go see live music. You're going to be able to look up there and guarantee that there is a Shure 58 or a 57 miking a guitar cab just about anywhere you go. And here's the cool thing about the Shure 57 and the 58. For $100, it'll get you in the door. And that's not really bad for something that you're going to be able to pass down to your grandkids. It really is a great microphone and will stand the test of time. And I want to say I have, okay, on my Rode, I'm not sure what the warranty is on the Shure microphones. I really need to look at the warranty slip, but I am certain that I read on my Rode NT1 microphone, which is a condenser microphone, that it has a 10-year warranty right out of the box. So for 10 years, Rode is going to pretty much back up the warranty on this microphone, unless you just throw it in the water and they can tell that you actually misused this microphone in some kind of way. But even if you did, I'm sure that they would probably go ahead and back up their warranty anyway. So, Rode NT1 is just a really, really good microphone as far as a great entry level condenser microphone. I've been having some great success with that Rode NT1, and I highly suggest if you don't have a Rode NT1 in your studio, it may be your next baby. I fell in love with that mic. It has a real nice clean. It's a microphone that has the lowest self noise out of any microphone on the market. So that ought to tell you something about the Rode NT1 microphone. I mean, why not go ahead and get you one, man? They just really, really sound good. I'm gonna put links down below in my description box, and you can go to these links and check out all the specs on the mics that I put down there that are my go-to microphones that I love in my recording studio. And you know what? They're all my babies. I love all of them. And if I didn't have one of them to work with in my arsenal, I would be missing them. So I just want to encourage you guys to start building your mic locker up. Start out with a 57 and a 58 if you don't have one, because these two microphones are going to get you in the door and you're going to be able to do pretty much just about anything with those two mics right at first. And just pay attention to mic placement, because mic placement on those two microphones is essential in getting a good track, a good recording, and get familiar with how they sound and how they work. And you're gonna like those mics. Like I say, for $100, $130, it'll get you in, and they're just great, great microphones. So I am going to put a link down there on those. I'll probably put a link down on this R-44. Now on this ribbon microphone right here, this is more I would say your high end microphones, typically because of the price range that you're spending on it. But it really does sound good, especially sounds really good on women vocalists. I'm sorry, someone's texting me. It seems like every time I get in here to do my show with you guys and hang out with y'all, someone texts me. Someone wants to give me a shout out and say, "Hey, what's a going on?" So I actually got on a little early tonight. I've been telling you guys I've been running late and running late and running late. Well, you know what? I didn't do my class tonight. I just worked out a little bit and hit some weights, and that was nice. And so I was able to get out early, and I didn't eat dinner. So I said, "What the heck, man? I'll just go ahead and get on early tonight and do a show with you guys, hang out with y'all." And so I got my final approval as far as the quote goes on the Audio Master T-shirts today, and I am stoked about getting them made. It's costing me an arm and a leg to make these puppies. It's $30 per screen print on each thing that you add to the T-shirt, and which is insane. And hopefully, the next go around, I won't have to spend so much money getting the shirts made. I don't know how they really work that out. I didn't ask too many questions this time. So I got Audio Master here. So that was $30. Now, this is $30 additional to how much the shirts cost and everything. So it was 30 here. It was 30 here. I'm not going to tell you guys what I got on it right now because I am going to be doing some giveaways and stuff. And I want you guys to see how cool they look. And everybody's going to want an Audio Master t shirt. So I got Audio Master here, which was $30. I got some printed on this sleeve right here, which was $30. And I got something printed on this sleeve right here, which was 30. That was $90 just in the print on the screen print. Okay. But they were so cool. I didn't want to turn it down. I was like, even if I got to spend that much money to have these shirts, I'm going to do it and do the giveaways, and people are going to love it, and it's going to pay off, because you can never give too much. But anyway, so that was $90 just in that, and then the shirts, I got more of a high quality shirt. They call it a tri blend shirt, and it's a little stretchy, and so the quality of the shirt is really nice. So I want to say for like I don't know, it was just really expensive. I need to look at the thing they sent me again. But here's the thing, I don't care. I want you guys to be able to have an Audio Master t-shirt if you love audio and recording and mixing, and they're so cool looking, guys, that you guys are going to want to go around and wear this thing. Be proud of it, man. And so anyway, man, just share Audio Master channel and help me out as far as getting my channel out there, and like and subscribe and comment because it is a cool channel, and I do share with you guys a lot of cool information that's going to help you out, especially to help you out and not make the same mistakes I did on a lot of buying equipment, and just a lot of learning curves that I had to go through the years to actually figure it out. And so I'm going to be sharing this information with you freely. So give me a like, give me a thumbs up, and share as always. And that'll help me get in the algorithm. But yeah, man, I haven't heard from a few of my friends in a while, and I hope you guys are doing out there okay. Mr. Product Review Man, I hope you're doing okay. I haven't heard from you in a while. I haven't heard from Dennis Reva Deniera in a while, and I hope to hear from you. And to pop in on my show, as you know, I have a open show here now, and so anyone can pop in at any given time. So feel free to do so. Join me in the Audio Master Show. Hit me up with some questions that you may have or some concerns that you have in your recording studio that you'd like to get past, and perhaps I might have the answer for you. And if I don't, I can certainly get back to you as to what some of my other professional engineers have to say. So it's always a phone call away to reach out to these guys who have been in the business longer than I have and who have many credentials that I don't have. But here's the thing, they're just a phone call away and they are friends of mine and they don't mind sharing with me their tips and tricks so that I can share with you. But being in the business for 30 years now and recording and being a musician myself, there's not too much I can't answer right away. So just hit me up with something that I can help you out in your recording studio. Everything from recording tips. Last night did a really cool show. It's about an hour long. If you can muster sitting through the whole thing, I suggest going back and checking out last night's show because it was a really cool informational show on how to start your mix. And then all the way to the end, I'm giving some good tricks in there on what to do, how to build your mix fast. And it was just a really good informational video on recording and mixing, getting your music, getting your tracks to sound nice and punchy and clean, and getting them up there right with the best of the best. So that's a neat thing, right? So I'm always trying to share information with you guys as far as staying in the middle of the road and sharing some good stuff with y'all. Now, I did do some things tonight and move some of my audio patch cords around. So I'm hoping my audio is coming in nice and clear for you guys to hear. But yeah, we got a lot of cool things going on this summer. And a lot of people moving into Texas, a lot of people buying property. So if you're a buyer, now is the time to buy. If you are a recording engineer and you are looking for vintage recording gear, there is a vintage recording audio on Facebook as a group that you can join. And I'm telling you, man, now's the time to buy. I'm seeing tons and tons of vintage gear showing up that people are selling due to whatever reasons they need to sell their equipment. So if you are a buyer or a investor, now is the time to buy some audio equipment. You may be thinking where tomorrow is headed because a lot of us are as far as the uncertainty in this world that we live in. But here's the catch, man. Here's the gig. It is a buyer's market right now as far as people letting go of some great vintage gear. And there may come a time where it's all balled up and you won't be in on the deal. So even if you got to go out there and get a little extra work, or if you can work or pull some extra jobs or whatever, go ahead and do so and jump on some of this vintage equipment that's out there that's being sold. Phew, man, I'm seeing a bunch of it right now. I have got some equipment that I'm actually waiting on to come in, and so I am spending money on some gear myself. And so I'm really enjoying my audio equipment here lately, and I can't wait to get my Eventide in. Eventide is going to have all my delays on there, and I can't wait to start using that on some of my tracking. As you guys know, I went through a big move, and I had to sell tons and tons of my gear and my microphones, which were my babies. I had some really cool vintage microphones that I had to let go, and it just absolutely wrecked my life for a while simply because I didn't want to let them go, and I had to in my circumstances that I was in. Sometimes life throws us a curveball or gives us lemons, and we have to make lemonade, right? And so that's pretty much what I had to do is start over. And I'm slowly but surely building my recording studio up back to where I want it to be. And it's a nice thing to be able to see progress in that and to see that I am going to be able to get to where I need to start doing a lot of tracking again and put together some music and actually get it out there for you guys to enjoy. as always. But yeah, man, if you missed out on last night, gosh, you gotta jump in on my last night show, man, and check it out. I think you're really, really gonna like it. It turned out really good. So, what do you guys think about the daylight savings time thing? Actually, it's spring forward. So, if you haven't moved your clocks forward, I suggest go ahead and do so now so that you're not in the dark. It is 7:40, and I believe it's still light outside, which is kind of cool. By this time, a month ago, it was pitch black. So now the sun will be tracking a little higher in the sky. As that sun is tracked across the sky, we follow the sun, right? And so that's a neat thing to have daylight a little longer, be able to stay out and do whatever a little longer without it getting dark on you. I love the springtime. I don't really care too much for all the pollen that's out there right now. A lot of people are getting sick and congested with just all the abundance of the pollen right now. But we had that heavy freeze here in Texas a few weeks back. And here we are. I think it put everything into a double bloom, man, because it seemed like we lost a lot of things and a lot of plants got frozen. The azaleas were starting to bloom and then they stopped their bloom and now they're on full force, man. They put on another set of, a double set of flowers, man. So we are in full springtime bloom here. And the pollen, you can actually just rake that yellow pollen. You can go by your car and just rake it off the hood, and it's about that thick, man. So people are not feeling well because of that. They suffer from allergies. And so we got the COVID thing still going on. And are they going to confuse things with that? It's just going to be a bit mess. So I'm hoping that we can get past the spring stuff, get some good rain to wash all that pollen off the trees and all the pine trees in this area and oaks. And, uh, and hopefully we can just stay well, right? And stay well to not get any allergies and move on down the road, man. Get in that recording studio and start singing, start laying down some tracks. Like always, I always encourage all you guys. But what are your favorite microphones? What is your baby? If I had to guess some of your baby microphones, I would have to say, of course, the SM58 would be one. That would be a go-to microphone. The 57 is another one. That would be a go-to microphone. But if I had to guess what possibly is in your mic locker, I would have to say AKG. I would have to say the AKG C414 is one of your workhorses in your mic locker. If the AKG C414 is your workhorse in your mic locker, type down there that it is and give a thumbs up on that baby. I had the AKG C414, I want to say probably about 15 years ago before they changed the style up on those. And that baby was just a jewel, and I loved that microphone. It was a little bitty old mic, man. It wasn't that big, but the thing was probably as heavy as a brick and just sounded absolutely stunning on everything I put it in. In fact, one of the first albums that I did, Day or Night, that I put out there, the engineer in Dallas, Texas, gave me a shout out and said, "Hey, man, the tracks sound absolutely phenomenal, but I just got to ask you," he said, "what microphone are you using on the vocals? Every mix that you sent in, it's just popping through like gold." And I want to say in his studio, he was using Blueberry, one of the Blueberry mics. And he just couldn't believe how good. When I told him I was using an AKG C414, it blew his mind away because he was thinking something even more expensive than that. He was actually thinking the Neumann U87, and he might have meant, or was it 67? Either one. It was either the 67 or the 87. He was thinking it was one of those two microphones. And when I told him, no, man, it's just the AKG C414. He's like, "Oh wow, I never would have thought that." I'm like, yeah, man, thanks. I appreciate it. But yeah, I did do some great tracking with that C414. And it just, that microphone was just a jewel. Really, really like that. So that would probably be one guess microphone that you might have in your studio if I had to guess, because it is a workhorse as well. If I had to guess another microphone, I would probably guess the Neumann TLM 103, possibly could be in your mic locker, or the Neumann U87 could possibly be in your mic locker as your workhorse go to microphone. Those are two more mics that are, in countless albums, especially the Neumann U87 is on tons and tons and tons and tons of records. You can hear that mic on everything from vocals to mic guitars to mic drums, room mics, you name it. That U87 has been on tons of different kind of instruments. Now, I want to say it's about $3,200 or $3,400 for that microphone, brand new. But I know the older Neumann U 87s were built much better as far as the capsules and how they sounded than the new ones today. Now, the one that I had was it was an older model. It was built. It came off actually the assembly line in 1979 is when my Neumann U87 came off the assembly line. And I just love that microphone. It was just a gorgeous mic. Now I had to let that baby go as well. And like I say, I did have a lot of vintage cool microphones that were worth tons and tons, and I hated letting them go. So I see I have someone in tonight, man. Why don't you top down there for me, man? You gave me a thumbs up. I appreciate that. Type down there as to is watching the show, and I would appreciate it, man. Maybe we can talk back and forth. But I'm actually here on my mixer. So if you do want to pop in, let me know you want to pop in by a little text, and I'll put a little link down there below, and you can come hang out with me, man, if you want to. But today was a great day, man. I really had a good day, and so I wanted to talk about these microphones because I can go to sleep at night and talk about microphones. Heck, who knows? I'll probably even talk about microphones in my dreams because I love talking about microphones so much. But yeah, it's a cool thing, and I love every microphone. And so I've been wanting to also get out there and see what they've got in some of these pawn shops around town. We have quite a few pawn shops here where I'm at. And so I've been wanting to actually get in some of the pawn shops and see what they got, see what's coming up. A lot of times you can find some really cool stuff. In fact, I found my Shure 55 in a pawn shop, and it just was in mint condition. The only thing that was a little messed up on it, I wouldn't even say messed up, but deteriorated on it was the pop filter on the inside was falling apart a little bit on one side. There was no scratches on this microphone whatsoever. It shined like a jewel, and but it was really easy taking off that little badge and replacing the inside with new foam. And once I did that, you could see that new shiny black in there, and it literally looked like a brand new microphone and sounded gorgeous. Now I want to tell you a little story about that 55, that Shure 55, the classic 55. It sounded way better than the new ones that are coming out. It seems like all the old microphones just sound better than the new mics. And a lot of that has to do with the capsule and things like that. But I had an artist who came in. He was a very, very he was a really good artist, and he was good at several different instruments. So he wasn't just limited to playing one instrument. And he came in. I said, well, would you like to have someone else in to accompany you with, say, piano or drums or whatever? And he's like, no, man, I can do all the tracks myself. So I was like, cool, man, come on, I'm ready for you. So he shows up, and he starts putting down some guitar tracks, a little simple stuff, not really a whole bunch of intricate stuff, but he played to a click track, and so he was right on. He was right on target and played right on time with the click. And he was actually doing some really cool things as far as downbeats and whatnot, as far as working his pick and guitar strums, which I thought was cool right off. So then after he did that, then I'm not sure if he went to lay the piano part down or if he had his drums there. He had a very, very simple set of drums. I think he had one tom, one kick, and maybe a snare, and maybe one floor tom, and a ride, and a crash, and a hi hat. So his set was really, really simple. And we mic'd it up and got some cool mics on it. Got some really cool takes, him playing the drums and whatnot. So, and he was just really, really good. I mean, he was right on time with everything. He never was behind or rushed anything. A lot of times people can rush a little bit or sit too far back in the pocket, and you actually have to do a lot of lining up later on. But he was right on time with the click, sounded really, really good. And then when it got time to the vocals, keep in mind, I had all my babies and all my kids laid out. The I had the TLM 103, I had the AKG C414, I had the Neumann U87. I want to say I had oh heck, I just had a bunch of mics laid out. But I had the 55. Now when he gets up there, I want to say I put the Neumann U87 on him first. He starts singing. The guy's got a lot of air. He really knows how to belt out. And he started singing. So I pulled him back from the microphone just a smidget. He was kind of a little too close to the mic. And I had him sing through and did a track on that. I thought it sounded really good. And I was happy with the track. And he's like, nah, man, can I sing through that microphone? So we went through the 87. And I want to say he sang through the C414, the AKG. And so he sang through those two condenser microphones. And then he says, okay, can I try that? I had it on a little bitty mic stand. I actually had it on my desk here. And he said, does that microphone right there work? And I was like, yeah, man, it works perfect. I'm talking about the Shure 55. Yeah, man, it works perfect. And I put a new pop screen in it now, and it looks brand new and sounds great. And he's like, I want to sing through that mic. I was like, okay, man, you can sing through it. Sure. It's a dynamic microphone, but you can sing through it if you prefer sing through that over the condenser mics. So I put the Shure 55 up in front of him. He does one take listening through the headphones and listening to his tracks. We had like a cool little mix. I want to say I had a good little mix going for him at the time. And I want to say after the first take he did, I pushed stop, record, and he took off his headphones and he said to me, I love that microphone. He said, that is the microphone right there. And I said, you sure you don't want to do that? Keep those? And he's like, no, I don't want to keep those other takes. I want this take to be on the album. And I was like, okay, man, whatever you want, man. If you like, you know what? He actually wanted to buy that microphone from me, and he felt like that was the best sounding microphone that he's ever heard in his life. And that was his opinion. I was digging the way the 87, the Neumann 80 U87 was sounding on his voice, but he just something about some artists when they got something in their head and they hear something, they hear things that you and I might not be hearing or want to hear. And so what he was hearing was gold to him. And he literally wanted to buy that Shure 55 from me. He didn't even want to leave without it. He wanted to take that microphone home with him. And at the time, I just couldn't let go of it because it was just one of those. It was one of my kids, and I didn't have to let go of it, and I didn't let go of it. And so, but that just goes to show you that you never know what mic is going to pop through a mix, and you never know what people are going to like. Like I say, I had a $3,500 microphone. up there against a Shure 55 that I got out of pawn shop for less than $100, and and he preferred the Shure 55 over the condenser microphone. So you just never know what mic's actually going to sound really, really good and what microphone people are going to like on their takes. So that's why every microphone is a good microphone to me if it works. If it works in great working order, is it is a baby and needs to be in every studio and every mic locker, man. So stack up on all those cool microphones, man. Don't be shy. Start looking on some of those Facebook groups. See if you can find some vintage microphones on there. And I want to say if they've got any pencil microphones, grab these pencil mics. Go ahead and grab them and put them in your studio because they're going to sound great on miking your acoustic guitars and whatnot, especially whenever you start getting into some XY recording with them or even overheads or anything like that. You're going to love the way these pencil mics sound. And go ahead and pull them babies above the kit. And, you might want to point them like this. You might want to point them straight down over the kit, have one room microphone in there. But whatever you do, they're going to sound great. So go ahead and start stacking up on the microphones, man, and build your arsenal up in your studio. I want to check something here. I want to check my levels to see if I still got a good level. Like I said, I did some different patching tonight, and I hope you guys are able to hear me. Okay. I actually can hear myself okay through the headphones here, but I don't know how it's translating on your end. I hope it's okay. But what are some of your baby microphones, man? Have you got a nice arsenal built up in your recording studio right now? Are you working with just one microphone? If you're working with just one microphone, I say you have to get more. You have to get at least three microphones in your arsenal, simply because this is going to help you actually with tonality and laying those tracks, those beginning tracks. And like I say, every engineer has their go-to microphones as to what mics they like to use on specific instruments, and knowing what mic sounds good on different instruments is a nice as a time saver. Now it's not going to work for you all the time, but a lot of times it's just about moving that microphone just a little bit here or there to get the sound that you want in small little increments. Kind of like small little increments, the changes that you do whenever you start mixing. You do everything in little baby steps, and you don't take these huge jumps to get to from point A to B and from B to C and then from C to D. So you want to make these little bitty small steps in your moves so that by the time you get to the end of the road or into the end zone, everything is just sounding great, man. So, but yeah, check out last night's video. I think you guys will be real impressed. I hope so anyway, because it seemed to flow pretty well, the video, and I was able to share some good information with you guys. I think, excuse me, it's going to help you out down the road as far as building a mix really, really fast and not playing around as to being out there in the dark, a shot in the dark, or trying to shoot at the dartboard or throw at the dartboard with no lights on. Good luck with that. And so sometimes we can find ourselves in the beginning stages of our career as an audio engineer or someone who hasn't you know, been around long enough. We can kind of go at things not having a plan or having a reference track to get close to and waste a lot of time trying to get there. If we would have had a reference track and if we would have known some of these tips that I shared with you last night on the last video, we could have got there a lot faster and possibly saved us tons of time and a lot of headache. So I highly suggest checking out last night's video, man. If you haven't, sit down and get you some popcorn. Ease on back and enjoy the show, man. The Audio Master Show. Thank you guys, as always, for joining in the Audio Master Show. We got a really lot of cool things going on here. You don't want to miss out on the Shure SM7B microphone giveaway. So just go ahead, hit that subscribe, slam that bell, and type why you like Shure microphones down in the comments, and that'll get you in the drawing. And you don't want to miss out on that. So I highly suggest that. Then also, we're going to be doing some giveaways on the Audio Master t-shirt. And I can't wait to get these in and show you guys what these babies look like, because you're going to want one too, man. Wow. When you record, you're going to want an Audio Master t-shirt. Trust me, you're really going to like these things. But thank you guys for joining in tonight, as always. Slam that bell, knock that bell out the park, man. Go ahead and just slam it. Go ahead and get you another grand slam in there, man. Make it 2 grand slams for the night. Slam that subscribe button as well. And we will see you tomorrow.